Hello class, this is your teacher Mr. McDougall, and this is a tutorial on how to start using the Itopia software online. What Itopia is something we're testing out in our district, and this will hopefully potentially allow you to use the Adobe products at home, even if all you have is a Chromebook. So you should have received an email that looks like this from me saying that you've been added to the Cloud Apps portal for Itopia. So find this email, and you're going to click on this link right here. This is Cloud Apps User Portal. When you get here, it's very important. First step, you need to sign in with ClassLink. Make sure that you are signed in to your ClassLink right here. Don't ever skip this part when you sign in. So make sure you're on a browser at home that is connected to your school profile. You're signed into ClassLink. That way when you get here, you click this ClassLink. If you choose Google, it will not work. You have to do this one. So click ClassLink. It will connect you, and it'll show you that the classes you have available, which for you should just be this one right here, the one that says My Name, Intro to Graphics. Most likely this will be not running, so you're just going to have to click Start, so it will start connecting to an account. So you're going to see this, it's going to load, it'll give you some tips like a video game loading screen. It's going to say, hey, check this out, here's what you can do. You just have to wait for this to load, and in a second you'll see this launch button become available. This could take a moment. It could take about 1 to 2 minutes for it to fully load. So it's okay, just be patient. And once it loads, you're going to hit launch to get started. So I'm just going to jump ahead real quick until mine's loaded, and then we'll pick up from there. Okay, so once it is finished loading, and again, yours might take a few more minutes, so just be patient until it gets to that point. So pause my video until it's fully loaded. It will allow you to click the launch button, or it will say launching in a few seconds, and it should take you back to this page where it says that your session is ready and you can connect. Before you actually connect, something very important, I want you to bookmark this website so you can use it whenever you need to. So come up to the star, click the bookmark, save it to your bookmarks bar, and hit done so you can access this anytime. So you'll need to do this part each time to connect it, and then once you're ready to go, click connect. And what it's going to do is it's going to take you to this virtual looking desktop. So if you're doing this on a desktop computer, this might look a little funky because now you kind of have a double desktop going on, but the point of this is so you can use all the Adobe programs on a Chromebook. If you have a regular laptop or computer at home, some kind of PC or Mac, then you can already download these programs. However, you can't install these programs on a Chromebook, which is why we're using this Itopia software. So if you have a Chromebook and you need to use the Adobe software for whatever reason, whether you were unable to finish an assignment in class, like you procrastinated and you took too long and now you have to do it at home, you'd have to use this software. Or if you're working from home long-term, ISB, or you've been out sick with COVID or an injury and you have not been in class for a long time, this is how you can continue to get work done, is by using this software right here. So all you'll need to do is connect Google and Adobe each time you log in. I've been told that they're working on a way to where you don't have to do this every single time, but in the meantime, we will do this. So first thing is we just need to log into Chrome, Drive, and Adobe, and then you could start with your stuff. So let's click on Chrome. Allow that, that's fine. We need to sign in. You can see right now it is blank, so click the little face to get signed in. Sign into Chrome. Sign in with your school email, the way you would typically sign in to a Chromebook or our classroom computers. And again, this process you'll have to do every single time you connect to Itopia, so make sure you're following along with this. Hopefully you won't have to do this in the future, but in the meantime, this is what we have. So then sign in again with your username and password. Let it connect, yes. Make sure when you do this part, you click continue. You click yes, I'm in, so it syncs. And you should see that you have your little icon that it's connected. You may not see your typical stuff pop up, but this is just a browser. So this is actually set on the web. So you can still access your email up here at the top. You can still ask Google Classroom up here. So it's just its own little browser tab, but it makes it look like it's a desktop computer. All right, now that that is connected, let's go to Google Drive and connect that. So double click on Drive. Same thing we did when we did setting up our computers. This is the same exact process. We're just doing it for this particular computer. Sign in. Now that my Chrome is signed in, it recognizes this profile, so I can just keep clicking Just keep clicking yes, agree, all that stuff. That way everything stays in sync. And yours might be going a little bit slower depending on your internet speed, so just pause my video if you need to stop at any time and catch up. All right, this is synced. Good. Now let's go to Adobe Creative Cloud. Click on that one. This should start working, and then do continue with Google. It should sync. If it doesn't, just click on the tab again, and you should see something like this saying you're all signed in. And if I go to Adobe Creative Cloud, it might show you that you can't access it right here, like you don't have access to manage the apps. That's okay. You don't need to manage the apps. You just need to know that you're signed in for right now. But I am talking to IT about fixing this in case there's updates. If you see something that says it needs to be updated or whatever, please let me know so I could help you get that fixed as soon as possible. But now that we've connected to it, it means our Adobe and Google accounts are now connected to this software. So now you can start or continue editing a project you've been working on using all of these apps right here. I could start using Premiere Pro, Lightroom, Photoshop. So if you go to this little Windows icon right here, and we scroll up and we go to our Google Drive, click Google Drive, it should open a folder. Looks a lot like this. This should be very familiar. I'm going to minimize these for a second. I don't need them right now. So when I went to the little Windows icon and I clicked Google Drive, it opened up this. This should be very familiar to you with everything you've been doing in class. It's a window to access all of your files. So if I go to my drive and you find your Intro to Graphics folder, you can find projects that you have already started on, and you can just continue working for them. So if you started a project in class and you didn't get a chance to finish it, here's where you can finish it. So let's say, for example, I want to do my clones Photoshop. No, not that one. I don't have my project file created for that one. Let's go to the My Name one. I go here. Here's my folder with all my stuff. Here's my Photoshop file. So if I just double click on this, it'll open my project in Photoshop just like we did in class, so I could start or continue editing it. Give it a second to boot up. And again, your speed might vary depending on your home internet speed. If I click it, now it opens in actual Photoshop on this online platform. You don't have Photoshop on your computer if you're using a Chromebook. This is completely online. So now I can see I can edit exactly where I left off, and I have all of my usual Photoshop stuff here ready to go. Same thing with Premiere Pro. If we're working in Premiere Pro, say I want to do my keyframes one right here. Here's my Premiere Pro project, this purple project folder. I just have to double click that. That's why Adobe creates these project files. This is your project work in progress. So as long as you're saving your project as you're going, you can edit it from anywhere as long as you have this purple file. So now I double click this one. It opens Premiere Pro, and it'll open my project exactly where I left off. See? Just like that. When you open these, make sure that you set your workspace to what we're used to. Since I'm opening Premiere Pro for the first time, it is on the learning window, so I don't want that. So I'm going to click Window, Workspaces, make sure I'm on the editing one. So change that to make sure you're on the normal one that we're used to in class. Same thing with Photoshop. On Photoshop, we're on the Essentials workspace, so make sure you change those. And as you can see, it's not super fast. There is a little bit of a delay to it, so just be patient with it as you're using it. But it does work exactly the same way we'd use it on the computer. Okay, so again, this is just your backup. If you need to get any work done from home for any reason, you'll have to use this. I prefer you use the classroom computers because they're much faster, and while you're doing it in class, I can help you. But you'll need to use this as a backup if you need to do any projects over the weekend at home, or you are at home for a long time missing class. This is your go-to, so now you don't have an excuse not to get your Adobe work done while at home. And to get out of it, just come click over here on this little arrow and click Return to Dashboard. And yes, close the session. So this will take you back to the home page. So when you reconnect, once the session closes, if you're going to reconnect and do this again tomorrow, you'll have to do that whole login process I mentioned. Make sure you sign into Chrome first, then Drive, then Adobe Creative Cloud, and then you're ready to start cooking with your projects. Okay? So have fun. I hope you're able to get a lot done at home now. Even if you have a Chromebook, you have full access to the Adobe stuff that we're using in class. And have a good time. I will see you on the next tutorial.